Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. Most of you are probably pretty familiar with your everyday BoreSnake. I was cruising around my local gun store and I saw something new, and it is the BoreSnake Viper. So we'll be going ahead and giving this a review and see what makes this one better besides the additional $5 more over the old one. Well, to review this, we need to open the package first. I'm not going to use the knife because I want to reuse the package. I mean, I destroyed my old package opening it, and I'd like to, you know, after you use it, put it back in something. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up a little bit more carefully than I usually would tear open a package, because I want to put this thing back in after each use. So let's see what makes this so different. Interesting. I'm going to go ahead and lay out the old one, the old-fashioned type, next to it. Both of these are for 9mm or 380 type pistols. I've went ahead and laid both BoreSnakes side by side, old being the top one, the new Viper being on the bottom. And I want to go down and compare these two side by side as I pull them through the frame. Now, I noticed on the brass weights on each one of these, the caliber is marked on them. I never noticed that until today. Many of you already probably have known that, but there's a 35 stamped on these, which tells you that this is for 380 9mm 38 caliber 357 Magnum pistols in this case. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these through. Until we get to the floss area. Now here is where you see one of the major differences between the old and the new. The old one, the floss just starts, and what usually happens here is this sometimes, if you notice, they've sort of burnt the edge here to keep it from getting frayed, but I know a lot of BoreSnakes that I've had in the past, and many of you probably know that sometimes this all gets fuzzy here. Also, when you try to pull this through, if this is sort of hanging down like this, and as you pull this up and this hits the back of the barrel or the chamber, it gets stuck, and you got to, you know, sort of hold this out a little bit so you can start pulling it through. Now the new one has this bore guide, which is sort of a nylon or plastic that should help with that, and we'll go ahead and try this out to see if that actually is effective or not. Next area is the area where you have your brushes. The old one had only 2 areas of brushes. The new one has 3. 1, 2, 3. Might be kind of hard to pick up there, but there are 3. The old one has 2. And then the rest of the area, they're about the same size, except you have this orange area. Nowhere in the instructions does it state what this special orange area is for. Now, I've come across a video on YouTube that states that you put oil on this. I don't know if you put oil on there. And, you know, the Hoppe's website also states that, you know, you put a little bit of cleaner on this. So, you know, I look at different videos and look at different whatever out there that state, you know, put a little bit of cleaner here or oil here or anything, but they're not specific on where to put it. So you know, I'm sure many of you have your preferences. Me in particular, I don't put any oil or any solvents on my BoreSnakes. What I usually do is run a patch through with whatever solvent, and then I run my snake through, and then if it's going into any kind of storage for any period of time, I might put another patch with a tiny bit of oil and run it through the barrel just to preserve it. And then before I go to the range, I'll go ahead and run a dry patch through to get that out. But I try not to put any solvents on my BoreSnakes, but I know you're supposed to, but no one says specifically where you're supposed to put it or how much or what or where or whatever. So with that said, we'll go ahead and demonstrate these. For this demonstration, I'll be using my Ruger LCR, which is loaded, so we'll go ahead and clear. And I'll go ahead and show you that we are clear. So the safety police would be happy. Now, what I'm going to go ahead is I'm going to run the old style through. I'm going to go off screen here for a second, and you can see the weight. I'm going to go ahead and pull it through. Now here's where the problem is. See how that's not going through? It catches right there. So you have to probably like tip it down like that, or you may have to just sort of hold it back here while you're pulling it through to help guide the BoreSnake through initially. And then you just go ahead and pull it through. So that's how the old one works. Let's see if the new one is any better. I'm going to go ahead and drop the brass weight through. And I'm just going to do this normally and see if that guide actually helps. Look at that. Oh, okay. It helped. You have to pull it. Woo! That end is a little bit tighter. Well, that's interesting. It's sort of bunched up there. What happened was this sort of bunched up a little bit and made it a little more difficult to get through. So there's a possible issue there. And as you saw, the edge of the guide actually was able to the edge of the guide was able to catch the barrel, but I was still able to get it through. The old one, there would have been no way. Let's go ahead and do this again. Alright, it got through okay. And that got through okay. So that's how it works. And what happened was that first time I had, I guess, monkeyed around with this a little bit. As you can see, it's sort of like a, I might have had it like that, so this actually sort of bunched up right there somehow. So you might want to make sure that's nice and level. But I don't know. You think it's worth $5 more? I mean, you're getting the extra brushes at a minimum, and I think maybe this tip should be a little bit tighter. It can still catch, but I think it helps. I'm going to run it through one more time just to see. Yeah, I came right through with no problem. Gets that at the end though. Well, it's tighter there at this part right here. It's pretty tight. Now what that means is it's harder to pull through, but it's, you know, pushing against the inside of that barrel harder, which means it's cleaning it better. So this should work better. So that has been my review, our first look, unpackaging of the Hoppe's BoreSnake Viper Edition. $5 more, and I guess it's worth it. I'm this close to saying but I'd say it's worth it. So thank you very much for stopping by the Gear Obsession channel. I appreciate friends, subscribers, viewers. You're appreciated here on the Gear Obsession channel. Thank you very much and have a great evening.